Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Avernum 6. Last episode, I believe we dealt with the problems going on in the western excavation out in the western reaches. Now, well, we're over in the Tower Colony to deal with whatever the hell went wrong over there. So, let's head into the Tower Colony without further ado and see what's going on. There's also this area. You enter the testing grounds of the Tower Colony. For many years, when a new spell or construct or concoction needed to be tested, it was brought here. The scorched, scarred rock bears mute testimony to many catastrophic failures. The lone recent experiment seems to have been quite spectacular. There are several craters around the main testing platform. Each appears to have been made by an anvil falling from a great height. The anvils still sit pertly in their holes. There's a lone demon standing in the middle of the testing platform. Looks at the devastation surrounding it with great interest. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I'm just taking a peek. There's a bemused demon standing in this circle, surrounded by fresh anvil craters. The scaly creature grins at you. I was wondering how long I would wait in this lovely, cool cave. I am Galgath of the 34th Sphere, warrior in Grahoth's mighty legions, brought here to be amused by you ineffective mortals, and I have no intention of going. Who are you again? Galgath of the 34th Sphere, warrior in Grahoth's mighty legions, currently on vacation in the nice, cool, calm underworld. The 34th Sphere? Oh, don't ask me about infernal politics, I'm forgetting all that for a while. Grahoth's legions? Well, not really. The mighty Hakai Lord Grahoth was destroyed. Somewhere around here, I believe. But until someone is strong enough to command the legions, the old name remains. Well, at least nobody's taking control of Grahoth's old forces, so that's a good thing to hear. Are you mortals still here to beg me to leave? I still have no intention. Being trapped here suits me well. So, what's with all the anvils? Yes, funny story. One of your wizards wanted to test a new spell, so he summoned and bound me, and created the anvils using pure magical power and flung them at me. And, as you can see, the spell has an aiming problem. What wizard? Fellow didn't say his name. Sure swore a lot, though. A spell to create, anvils? Yes. Impractical, but I do admire the sense of style. Sometimes you need a bit of style. Why are you still here? Because I refuse to leave. Annoyed the old wizard who summoned me to no end. But he's fading a bit, and I think he didn't want to fight me, so here I stay. Want to know more? Find my summoner. Now I'm bored, you tire me. The creature sits down, leans back, and smiles. Go away, I'm on vacation. Okay. Random, but okay. You step into the Tower Colony. This is the core of the magical research in Avernum, and it has been since the earliest days. Once it was called the Tower of Magi. Then a huge magical disaster destroyed it, almost taking Avernum with it. Since then, it has been rebuilt. A smaller tower is to the southwest. Several separate facilities are located to the northeast. There is so much history. You imagine for a moment you can see the smoke, smell the sulfur and ozone in the air, see the terrified guards and apprentices scurrying about. And then you realize that it isn't your imagination. The whole colony is on a state of a constant worried alert. Some of the walls on the second floor of the tower bear recent cracks, and wisps of smoke come out. The disaster that recently befell Avernum was not restricted to the Great Portal. What the hell did they do? There are always a lot of Avernite soldiers stationed at the Tower Colony. It is one of the least desired postings. The presence of so many wizards in one place leads to a lot of highly justified paranoia. You don't learn anything from them except that there was recently a disaster and the second floor of the main tower is highly dangerous. But you'd already kind of guessed that. Alright, time to explore. Here's the barracks. Nothing in there. The wizards of the Tower Colony created a new sort of beast, and, through their carelessness, allowed it to escape.
The horror appears to have fled to the deep tunnels to the west. Find the lair of the horror and report its location to Captain Baghdadis. A bounty will be paid for the information. There is an envelope pinned to the board made of heavy papyrus. It appears to contain a long, thin crystal. It is addressed to Clary of the Undead Spiral. There appears to be a small outbreak of undead between the Tower Colony and the Undead Spiral. Could have been created due to the influence of either place. Either way, it must be removed. It takes the form of several unusually quick and quiet skeletons. Should they be destroyed, collect the bounty from Captain Baghdadis of the Tower Colony. Tower Administrator. I suppose you can start with the Administrator. There is an old, withered wizard sitting at this chair. He must have a position of some importance. He wears a narrow sash across his chest similar to what mares wear. His skin has the waxy look that wizards get in an unnatural age. He looks you over and gives you a weary smile, as if he's been through all this before.
Welcome, soldier. I am Kellner, the head administrator of this colony. I asked the council for assistance. I hope that you are it. This is a dark time for the Tower Colony. We have had some very embarrassing mishaps. Still, I hope that things can be tidied up before the problems spread.
You're in charge here?
Yes, I am. Feels like I've never left here. In fact, I don't think I have. I was a student, then a researcher, then this. I remember the Tower of Magi. I was there when we lost it, and then I helped to rebuild it in a newer form. Newer and safer, or so we thought.
Tell me about the Tower of Magi.
Oh, it was a glorious thing. The heart of Avernum's power for a while. Then one of the Triad, Archmage Linda, she made an error. Created a portal, lost control of it. We were able to regain control, but it was a near thing. Much of Avernum could have been destroyed had we not controlled the portal. Oh, how many of our problems have been caused by those portals.
What was a Triad?
The Tower of Magi was ruled by a council of 3 wizards. They served to magnify the eccentricities of the others. Now it is led by one mage under the strict and close supervision of the castle. For long stretches, the mage in charge has been me.
Well, at least you seem like you try to be reasonable and keep control of things around here, so that's not a bad thing. Tell me about the Tower Colony.
Once the rubble of the Tower of Magi cooled, the wizards of Avernum instantly began to plan a new home where they could work and collaborate. The castle was worried by this, understandably, considering the disaster. In the end, they let us rebuild here, a place to teach and to study, carefully watched by the castle. Apparently not carefully enough.
The Tower Colony was not safe after all.
Magical research is never a safe thing. We are, after all, only mortals, prone to mistakes, dealing with great amounts of power. But we did not expect such a confluence of disasters, and we were working very hard in unison toward one goal.
What goal?
To find a way to avoid famine, to cure the blight or create a mushroom resistant to it, or to find a new food source that would sustain Avernum. Despite tireless effort, we had no success, and now this latest disaster has delayed the work, perhaps completely.
Kellner fingers his sash and says,
Do you need anything else? If something would make you more effective, don't hesitate to ask.
His skin is deeply wrinkled and unnaturally dry. Every movement seems to take an effort. Wizards, barring accidents, tend to die only when they will it. But Kellner doesn't seem far from that point. Can you teach me some magic?
Well, that takes me back. No, I have not taken on a student in many years. I'm done with that. Find a Goss S in the tower. If you are polite and respectful, she might give you a few lessons.
A Goss S? That sounds like the name of a drake from Geneforge. Wait, no. Maybe a Slithzerakai. No, their names aren't that similar, are they? What is going on inside the main tower?
A new disaster. We were developing something we call a Sunspire. It had the potential to be a way to grow different sorts of food here in the underworld. However, when the Great Portal was disrupted, it sent a wave of energy through Avernum. It disrupted the Sunspire, which was always an experimental device, and caused problems. And now, because of what has happened, we can't reach the records we need. Terrible luck, as usual.
What was the Sunspire going to do?
It would be a source of power and light similar to that of the actual sun on the surface. If it could be created and produce enough power, it might enable us to grow actual plants besides mushrooms. I'm not educated on the details. Sage Adela can tell you more.
And all that food would be concentrated around the tower colony, home of all the mages who have caused such problems. Sounds brilliant. Is the Sunspire dangerous to me?
The spire itself? Probably not. I set limits for the amount of power that could be channeled into it. Had it not, the disaster might have been far worse. Of course, the demon that has shackled itself to the device carries certain risks. I'd suggest maintaining a safe distance.
Of course there's a demon. Where is the Sunspire?
In the second floor of the main tower in the center. There are 4 main hallways that lead to it. Keep far away from it unless you want to deal with the demon. It's extremely dangerous.
What will happen if the Sunspire is not repaired?
That's a fair question. Perhaps nothing. Perhaps it will draw more demons. Perhaps a large explosion. Fortunately, I do not think it is likely to destroy all of Avernum. We'll leave most of our people to starve in peace.
Well, that's reassuring. I am here to help you recover some records.
I thought so. The castle was, well, not prompt, but faster than it has been in the past to send help. Yes, we have some papers here, notes from when the Great Portal was last restored, back in the Time of Shades. I think they'll be very helpful for restoring it now. However, they might not exist. They were in one of the storerooms upstairs, and there's been some tumult up there. I need you to go upstairs and find the library storerooms, then hunt for and hopefully recover the notes.
And these papers will enable us to repair the portal?
No, they will make repairing the portal slightly less impossible. They contain instructions. The raw materials will still be terribly difficult to obtain.
Where is the library?
Well, just to the east after you go upstairs. However, there's a lot of rubble and escaped creatures blocking the way. Getting there may be difficult.
What should I know about conditions upstairs?
That there are wild experiments wandering loose, and a deadly Hakai is held imprisoned in the center of the level. There's a lot of ugliness in very short quarters. I can't give you much advice for how to maneuver, but I know someone who can.
Who?
Speak with Sage Adela. Her office is in the tower. She can tell you more about the Hakai and the Sunspire.
Understood. Thank you. We'll keep our eyes open for her. Although there are still other places to look around at. Like up here. In which there is nothing we can actually get. I don't know if the research notes are actually useful for us, but I'm taking them anyway. Castle Liaison. There's an old soldier sitting in this office, kept separate from the main tower. He leans back in his chair, listens to the constant rumbles and crashes coming from the tower, and looks miserable. He is obviously not one of the mages. Although he wears a captain's insignia, he isn't actually a warrior. He stands to greet you.
Captain Baghdad, welcome. Always glad to see another soldier here. Not that it ever helps when dealing with these madmen.
What do you do here?
I am the official castle liaison to the Tower Colony. My task is to watch the experiments taking place here, question the mages frequently, and generally watch for anything that might reproduce the disasters of past decades.
So you're the resident nag. Alright then. So you answer to the castle.
I do. They ask me how things are going. I say that they are under control. And then everything blows up and I drink.
What is the current status here? You hear an explosion coming from the main tower. The ground vibrates slightly under your feet.
Not well. The disaster I was put here to prevent occurred. Now I can only stand back and wait for them to repair it.
Did you know about the experiment that went wrong?
You mean the Sunspire? Yes, I knew all about it. Except for everything they didn't tell me, like, say, the risks.
So the disaster is partly your fault?
That is what the castle believes, I am sure. But there is only one of me and many mages, and things happen quickly and they lie to me. Yes, imagine that, wizards lying in order to get to do whatever they want. I finally feel comfortable doing what I've long wanted to do. Just give up. Ah, it feels marvelous.
Great. Just great. Captain Baghdad reclines in his chair and listens to the chaos outside. Whatever his primary job is, he makes it clear that he's completely given up. Can I do any work for you?
Perhaps. I do have jobs around here, mainly involving cleaning up the messes the wizards make before they cause real harm.
So what should I do?
Watch the job board outside Kellner's office. That's where I post the jobs so that passing mercenaries can profit. You don't think they give me actual soldiers to command, do you? Ha!
What do you think of the Tower Colony?
Contains two sorts of wizards. Brilliant workers who are doing all they can to save and aid Avernum, and crazed madmen who could, with one bad decision, destroy us all. Sadly, all mages here belong to both categories.
That's all we can get from you. Okay, then. There's a room in there. Storage room in here, with some wine. Probably best that it's being kept locked up. Apprentice quarters. This is one of the Tower Colony's young apprentices. As is traditional, they are all under a vow of silence. This spares the higher-ranked mages the need to listen to a lot of screaming. Lovely. And not really much out here. Another guard. X. Ah, yes, X. That old mage. Been around for ages. Looks like a way out to the south. Where's the pylon in all this, anyway? I feel like it would be down to the south, maybe? I don't know. Alright, X. Let's speak. X takes the scroll and opens it. It bears a sketch of an anvil.
What? This old design? I evaluated it and found it unworthy decades ago. Pah!
He casts it away.
I suppose you should be rewarded. I will unlock one of my boxes upstairs.
Okay. You meet X, the Enchanter, one of Avernum's most famed, mysterious figures. Impossibly old, extremely powerful, highly eccentric, probably mad. He looks like a bundle of bones held together by a thin layer of skin and a heavy web of magic. His eyes are bright and distant. A tiny bit of his mind is concentrating on you. The rest is wandering realms unimaginable.
The soldier, the visitor, another young hope. So many. Perhaps helpful. Perhaps I can help. Even X must eat. Yes, state your query.
Where are you from?
From surface, from sun, in Avernum in early days. Helped build it, helped make mushrooms that die. So many years, so many turnings of absent sun. Too long.
You were there at the founding of Avernum.
Mighty wizard on surface, power struggle, was on side that lost, with lost Erica, with old Solberg, with lost Patrick and Roan, sent to Underworld. Great mistake for Empire, I think.
How old are you? He looks down at his skeletal hand. For a moment he seems more lich than human.
Old.
You made the mushrooms we grow?
Not make, helped make, was there, gave advice, saw process, understand it.
Can you make a new sort of mushroom for us to eat?
No, not specialty. Strain has reached end of use, been remained and extended as far as it can go. This is not first plight, not first time mushroom needed to be reworked. It's only last plight. It's exhausted.
He shakes his head. For a moment you see a twinge of emotion on his face.
It's unfortunate. Thought this might happen. Hoped I was wrong. Was not.
I wonder if any will survive. X stares at a point somewhere behind your head and chuckles.
Are you important? Or just destined to be bones on a forgotten road? Ask your questions, then go discover the answer.
Can you teach me magic? He looks you over.
You don't have strength, can't withstand such power. Work for me, help me in tasks, gain power gradually. With time I will share secrets with you. I hope you survive them.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Yes, I wish to hire a young warrior. I was working on my great magic, the secret to the spell of power. I have worked a lifetime to unlock it. So close, but my testing ground is soiled. There is a pest in the testing ground, left from the last failed test. Get rid of it.
What is this great magic you are trying to create?
A true spell of power. It would create a rain of anvils and drop them on the foe from a great distance. Truly glorious, massive and stylish destruction.
What?
The anvil contains within it a pure awesome power of destruction. An anvil falling from the sky. Is there nothing more majestic, more deadly? Only I have the skill to unleash this power.
Seems crazy to you, but, well, he is the wizard after all. Where is the testing ground?
To the north of the colony. Do not fear, the creature is but an imp, a pest, no real threat. I hope.
Why don't you destroy the thing yourself?
I command awesome power, but it is stored within a fragile shell. One blow and it might fly free.
Great. Well, we'll see what we can do later. We still have to look around the rest here. Another anvil in the back. That must be the box he opened up. Can't go in any of these other places unless he opens it up. Alright, time to look in the tower itself. You step into the main tower of the colony. You're surprised to see that despite all the chaos taking place over your head, and the rumbling you can hear through the stone, business down here is taking place mostly as normal. Apprentices are studying. Workshops are active. Mages continue their research, not being diverted from the task of dealing with the blind and repairing the great portal. The main difference, apart from the smoke and noise, is that there are a lot of soldiers around, alert in case something nasty comes downstairs. In these chaotic circumstances, nobody seems to notice your presence. Well, we'll see what we can see and do. Random potion. There is currently a class in progress here. You don't interrupt it. Sage Dressla. Classroom in here. Not much really happening. I mean, I suppose you can take those to sell them. Looks like a library in there. When magical research and training gets intense enough, it requires an alchemist to be nearby and on call at all the time. Sure, there are the explosions and horrible odors, but sacrifices do have to be made. The Tower Colony's resident alchemist limps up to greet you.
Yes, welcome, soldier. Kelner has placed orders that I am to help all of Avernum's brave warriors. I am Djakov. If you need supply, potions, or custom work, come trade with me. I am also tasked to obtain extra supplies for the tower if you have anything to sell.
What sort of things do you make here?
Well, the obvious things. Potions for healing and blessing, wands, scrolling. But there are other things I do, too. Alchemical work.
Where do you get your ingredients?
Gathering of rare and precious magical herbs is a major source of wealth for Avernum. The foragers go out and return laden with ingredients of all sorts. Some of them went up the great portal. Others come here.
What else do alchemists do?
I make cleaning solvents and substances to purify metal. I make acids and poultices and drinks to cure headaches. Magical research has yet a lot of headaches.
Yeah, I can imagine. Zhakov constantly tends to his bubbling pots. He frequently crumbles dried herbs into them or uses a spoon to scrape scum off the tops.
Sorry, this all requires constant attention.
Can I buy a potion or two? Nothing we need, but thank you. Something that might be useful. Specifically, some iron, crystal, and some equipment. Can you do any custom work for me?
I would be happy to. My specialty is wands. I can make all sorts of them. Of course, you will need to provide the materials.
He points at a thick book on a pedestal by the west wall.
I've made notes of what I can make and what I will need. Please consult that before you waste any of your time.
Fiery, terror, null, and sparkling wands. Nothing we need to use. Don't know what's in there. Well, there's a stairways up. Not going in there. Another storage room, it looks like. Experiment management. There's a middle-aged mage sitting at this desk. She is clearly exhausted. You doubt she's had a good night's sleep in weeks. She keeps herself going with strong teeth, force of will, and awareness of the fiery disaster upstairs. She looks up at you with bleary eyes.
I am Sage Adela. I supervise the experiments upstairs.
Where you assume the fire is.
Who are you? What do you want?
I'm working for Kellner. You explain why you were sent here. She nods.
More help. Good. Need more help. Stretched very thin here. As I said, I oversee the experiments upstairs. I approve the experiments. I get the major supplies. I have the waste hauled away. And now I am trying to control the disaster. I can give you advice if you have to go up there, about the Sunspire and the demon.
What sorts of experiments happened up there?
Development of new spells, new potions, new flora and fauna. This tower has a glorious history of making creatures that make life in Avernum possible.
Of course, all work up there is approved first. What sort of things have been made here?
The glowing moss on the ceiling, the mushrooms that until the blight came fed us all, new sorts of lizards, and so on.
She nods off. You nudge her awake.
Sorry. And we have tried to create new sorts of flora that are resistant to the blight, and new ways to feed people, like the Sunspire. No luck.
Were you in charge of approving the work?
Yes, but don't blame me for this disaster. Everything was safe as possible, and even now the disaster is restrained to a small area. It's not my fault that there was a massive surge of energy from the Great Portal that disrupted everything.
What caused the disaster?
The Great Portal. When it ruptured, it sent a shockwave of uncontrolled energy coursing through all of southern Avernum. They even felt it up in Silvar. The day before that disaster, everything was calm. Then, floom!
I suppose that's one way to describe it. Sage Adela looks up at you and mutters something incomprehensible. Her eyelids flutter shut for just a moment, then a loud rumbling noise from upstairs snaps them open again. You said that you have the waste hauled away? What do you mean?
Often spells and alchemical work result in waste. Slime, mock-failed potions, a lot of it poisonous. It has to go somewhere. I take care of that. Actually, if you have time, there is a way you can help me when passing by.
Well, maybe I can help.
Well, there's an ogre colony to the northwest. There has been on and off for many years. We drive them out, they come back. Anyway, I thought why not put them to use? So I've been sending them the waste, and paying them, and they guard it. I just need to send someone to check it occasionally to make sure it doesn't leak. That's all I need, just for you to poke your head in.
How exactly will I get to this stuff?
Go to the ogre tribe and find the chief. He can take you there, just be polite. They're temperamental creatures.
What happens if it's not stored correctly?
It can be ugly. There was an old school of magic on the surface once. It was closed down and a bunch of waste was left behind. Leaked out into the soil around the school and... it was not good for the people who tried to live around there. Not something we want to repeat here.
I think I know what she's referring to. Not something that we've seen in any of the 6 games here. Definitely not in Avernum 3. I think that refers to something that happened in Blades of Avernum. I think there's another part of Blades in Avernum that is referenced somewhere, but I don't know where. Tell me about the Sunspire.
Oh, it was a glorious idea. It truly was. It would use a modified sort of portal magic to draw the light of the sun from the surface into the underworld. It was even beginning to work until its flaw became clear. But before we could take it apart... the disaster.
What good would the sunlight do?
Apart from the obvious aesthetic qualities, it would enable us to grow a far wider range of crops down here.
And what was the device's flaw?
Portal energy tends to draw shades and demons. The Sunspire was no different. When you're a farmer trying to grow oats or whatever, constant demon attacks are not what you want.
It is dangerous now?
Not really. It is the smallest and most stable of portals. It lets out sunlight, that's all. The only danger is in what it attracts. Has attracted. When it cracked, something changed in it. I don't understand it, but that pulse of energy is what drew the Hakai.
Well, tell me about the demon.
It's a Hakai. I'm one of the few that has seen it and lived. It shouted its name. Vecnok Mindbreaker, if you're curious. Then it tried to come through into our world, but it could not break through. Sadly, its smaller servants could. They are what caused much of the damage. If you go upstairs, you should avoid the creature.
Where is the Hakai?
It is in the center of the level, next to the wreckage of the Sunspire, and the portal it is trying to open. It seems to be shackled to both. Until it can make the portal large enough, it can't get through. If you stay away from the center, you can avoid it. It's harder to avoid its servants. My scouts say that those disgusting worms patrol the 4 corridors leading to the center. They seem to be linked to their master. They don't go much farther than those corridors. They're nasty, but you might be able to avoid them if you watch for their patrols.
Why can't I attack it?
You can, but you'll die. It can cloud your mind with fear, such overwhelming terror that you can die from the sheer force of it. Just stay away, that's my advice.
How can it be destroyed?
Happily, that is one problem that has not been left to me. Kellner's in charge of that.
Okay then, thank you for the information. Only one other room to look at. Please do not Ow, ow, ow. Watch the fire. It takes a lot more than a giant explosive disaster to get time off for the apprentices of the Tower Colony. You meet the head instructor of the School of Magic here. She is an aged, hunched-over Slithzerakai. She looks you over with cold, appraising eyes. Potential. I see potential. You are not the first soldiers here, not the first to come for training. I am Agassiz. Tell me about the School of Magic. This is one of the few places in Avernum where wizards are trained, but it has great prestige. Some even came from the surface to study here. We lack the libraries and staff of schools on the surface, but we have other advantages. Where else can one learn to be a wizard? Now only in Patrick's Tower. There were other places before, like the Northern Isles. Then the Slith Horde came. Why is the school still open? She casts her eyes to the ceiling and lets out a short, derisive hiss. This? Close because of this? Mages must be able to study and concentrate even when all around is disaster. This now is nothing. Why would someone come from the surface to study? On the surface, to a student of magic, the Empire gives many limits. Down here in Avernum, very few limits. Fewer books to learn from, but much more to learn. Agas S inspects you, evaluating everything about you. Your equipment, your muscles, your posture. You start to feel self-conscious. More training? What do you wish to know? What can you teach me? Many spells. Valuable spells. I would help those who fight for this land, especially against the Slith Horde. I am one of the few who even share knowledge about magical barriers, their creation and destruction. You hate the Slith Horde. All civilized Slithzerakai do, for they hate us even more. They reserve their greatest torments for those who work with the humans. Can you teach me to destroy magical barriers? I can. It is a rare secret, closely guarded, but you may need it. But such a secret is never given, only earned. How can I earn it? You have been to the Great Portal? Before the destruction, perhaps? Well, there are papers there that we need. On the portal, on its repair, and other things. Demons from the portal make its recovery difficult. I sent some to get them. They opened the way, but were slain. Go to the Great Portals. Find the papers. Bring them to me. But be warned, the demons spawn are likely to be very powerful. Very, very dangerous. You should be sure to grow in experience before you face them. Where are they? She describes them to you. They are in the library there, in the tunnels under the portal. To get them, you may need to pass some tests called by the portal. It may be dangerous. Do this, and my secrets are yours. Is there anything else I should know? Only that fighting demons in great numbers is dangerous. Only the most skilled and experienced should try such a thing. Agas S looks at you skeptically. Perhaps you are not ready. We'll try anyway. But I would like to be trained. Yes, I can teach you many spells, powerful magics, and certain other techniques for efficiency and power. What techniques? Arcane lore, spellcraft, and magical efficiency. Not bad, but nothing we really need. Spells we need, though. Cloak of Bolts, which I think protects us from, missile weapons. Lightning Spray is something I really want, though. And Minor Summon. The rest of this I think we're fine with. Well, thank you for your time. Alright. That is going to be the end of this episode. Next episode... I think before we go upstairs, we'll go deal with that demon in the training grounds out here. We may as well. That'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I'm Chester44, that is Ortas, Michael, Amar, and Rika. This has been an Avernum 6 Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.